Hello, everyone. On this Thursday, 6th February 2025, I am Madam Anireju Erewa. Whatever time you are right now, I greet and welcome you to my channel, Anireju News. Please like, share, and subscribe.
Mete wa Biafra de no. Mete wa Biafra de no. Asina he hit me megi. Mete wa Biafra de no. Akane hiora. Dule o. Mete wa Biafra de no.
It is questionable how Aliko Dangote magically became Africa's wealthiest man. It is quite questionable. Yes. Just recently, I came across an interview online hosted by Afripreneur Conference with Aliko Dangote as the guest on March 25, 2022. Aliko Dangote was asked about him being the richest man in Africa after he graduated from an Islamic business university in Cairo, Egypt in 1977, and went back to Nigeria to start a business, and magically he became the wealthiest man in Africa. Yes. He was asked, it was an interview. Aliko Dangote answered that his father, Mohammed Dangote, died when he was 8 years old. He said that he did not inherit any of his father's inheritance, and he was proud of himself that his achievements in life he built from scratch by himself to where he is now. This is what Aliko Dangote said. He then thanked the British Fulani organization Islamic Nigeria for the assistance rendered to him that contributed to his growth and success. The host asked Aliko Dangote that his father died when he was 8 years old. And his maternal side is wealthy. Is very wealthy, as well as his paternal side. And after the death of his father, his mother took him to live with either his uncle or his one of his grandparents, and that they were there. They sent him to school and trained him all the way to the university in Cairo. And then after graduating, he came back, and his uncle actually gave him a loan to assist him to start the business, which Aliko Dangote returned within 3 months. A very huge loan, but within 3 months, that was in 1978, he returned the money. So Aliko acknowledged that yes, both his maternal and paternal side, they were very wealthy, and that he had developed this whole idea about business because when his uncle will give him money to go to school, he will buy candy, and when he buy the candy, he will go and sell it. So his uncle knew that he is going to make it in life, in business, and that's how he developed this business idea. This is what he said. So I listened to this whole interview. His response made me to go and do advanced research on Aliko Dangote's family tree from both his paternal and maternal side. Yes, I did the research. And my research, when I did it on Aliko Dangote, I came across, there were many information, but I came across one information on his maternal side. And not too much about his paternal side, but on his maternal side. His great-great-grandparents and his great-grandparents. His great-great-grandparents and his great-grandparents. And the similarity in the story of the death of his great-great-grandfather, Abdullahi, when his great-grandfather, Al-Hassan, was 8 years old. And that kind of, I said, well, maybe this is something that runs in the tree. Aliko, according to him, he was 8 years old when his father died. And this one, his great-grandfather was 8 years old when his great-great-grandfather died. So there will be part 1 and 2 on Dangote, but this very focus here, this will focus on the part 1 of the Aliko Dangote maternal side fame to wealth versus Aliko Dangote himself fame to wealth without inheritance. Yes. According to the information, Al-Hassan was born into a wealthy Hausa family in Bebeji, Kano in 1877. He was Aliko great-grandfather. Yes, from the maternal side. Al-Hassan parents Abdullahi and Maya were presumed to be Aliko Dangote maternal side great-great-grandparents. He didn't know them. They were dead before he was born. But that's, they are his great and great. Okay. Al-Hassan was one of the sons of his great-great-grandparents. His birth position was not known. Abdullahi and his wife, Maya, who were Aliko Dangote great-great-grandparents, were said to be commodity traders and caravan leaders in Bebeji, Kano, en route Nupe, and Gonja in the north, and they became considerably very wealthy. They were in entrepreneurial business. In 1885, when Al-Hassan was 8 years old, Al-Hassan, who happened to be Aliko grandfather, was 8 years old when his father, who is Aliko Dangote great-great-grandfather, Abdullahi, died. And being that the 8-year-old Al-Hassan was too young to manage their father's considerably wealth, the inheritance was shared between the siblings. Al-Hassan, the 8-year-old, got his share, and the other siblings got their share. Their mother, Amaya, being already successful, wealthy commodity trader within her rights, and had no interest to marry again, she decided to migrate to Accra, Ghana, in the then Gold Coast, where she had a commercial interest. And the travel journey to Ghana from Kano will take several weeks, and she couldn't take her children with her. on such a long journey. She decided to leave her children behind with an old slave woman called Tata. And because of Tata, the young Al-Hassan became known as Dan Tata for surname, to mean son of Tata the slave. She enrolled him in a Quran Madarasa school in Bebeji, Kano. The Quran school was run by a Malam, where the students are Amajiris and are required to generate money for the Malam by either be a beggar on the street or work for pay. The underage 8-year-old minor Al-Hassan Dan Tata chose to work for pay and would tender the money to his Malam master, and he will find time to study his Quran. The rule applied to all of the Amajiri students, no exception, whether a beggar or work for a pay. The Amajiris' earnings are for the Malam. All this information, they are, go do research. You will see everything is there on Dangote, Tata. Yeah, so all this came from the information, you know. So this is about his, you know, Dangote's great grandfather. Yes. So, Al-Hassan eventually, on the advice of his guidance, Tata, who noticed that the money this child is making goes to the Malam. So, she bought him a coin box and advised him to save a little each time by putting the money in the coin box and then to tender the others to the to his Malam at the Quran school, which Al-Hassan, the 8-year-old, obliged and was doing just what Tata asked him to do. It appears that the 8-year-old Al-Hassan Dan Tata inheritance that was shared to him from his father's will was also kept in trust of the Malam during registration when he went to be registered into the Quran school. The child's inheritance was kept in trust of the Malam. And he's holding the child's inheritance, and then the child goes to work, and whatever he earns, he has to give a portion to the Malam, and with the advice of Tata, he keeps a little in the coin pot. Yes. And in no time at all, the all of the 8-year-old Al-Hassan shared portion of his late father's inheritance disappeared and vanished into thin air. You know, it looked like in this knot, it looked like this is a typical conduct, the behavior. Money disappears, snakes eat, snake will swallow money. So all this has been a behavior that has been the 8-year-old inheritance that was kept in trust of the Malam, vanished into thin air and disappeared. Yes. Yeah. So, life became a challenge for 8-year-old Al-Hassan Dantata, losing his shares of his father's inheritance, and he had to support himself and his Malam by fending for food, finding clothing to wear, begging for money to help care for himself and his Malam. And he still will find time to study his Quran. You know, because Dangote, he said he never inherited the inheritance and he worked hard from scratch. So it's a good thing we have this story here, so comparison will be made in this part 1. Okay, then we continue. All right. In 1893, when Al-Hassan was 18 years old, young adult teenager, a civil war broke out in Kano between two rivals over who would be emir. Power struggle. The war lasted 2 years. Unfortunately for Al-Hassan, his favorite candidate was on the losing end, and they were being sorted for, captured, and held at a ransom for freedom or be sold into slavery. Al-Hassan managed to pay for his freedom. That enabled him to go back to work. Yes. By 1894, he decided to go home and join his mother, Amaya, in Accra, Ghana, whom he had not seen in more than 9 years. And he felt that with her success, she would help him to get situated in Ghana, find work among the Agalawa community in Gold Coast, Ghana. But that was not the case. He only spent one night at his mother's. By the morning of the next day, his mother took him to a Malam and told him to stay with the Malam until he was ready to return back to Bebeji, Kano Emirate. Al-Hassan worked harder in Accra, Ghana than he did in Kano All this information, they are there on the research. He would go and beg for food for his malam and himself after his usual Quran reading. On Thursday and Friday, he would work for money, doing trading and selling beads, necklaces, and European clothing. Some percent of the proceeds he generated from the trade went to the malam. As you people are listening to this, these Biafrans, one Nigerian is coastal. You've been told all this Babia lad on the street, they come, they sing Babia lad, Kawodashi, you give money. You say you are sympathetic, you are pity. You look at the way things are. But you keep giving them your money, but you are hearing here now, all these monies, they are amajiris. All these monies, they are taking it to go and give to a malam. In the meantime, they are controlling the government, they are taking the jobs, you can't find jobs, you are hanging around on the street, doing nothing. And Dangote is the richest man. We will treat that in part 2 next time. Not today. Yeah, not in this program. But I just make reference to it so you know. In the highest, they're ripping you off. On the street, they are ripping you off. Okay. A word is enough for the wise think. All right then. Because when you are told, you say, waiting, I'm sympathetic, come on now, you see he's blind, he's crying, I beg, make her give my money. You are hearing now. They send them to do it and they collect your money to go and give to a malam. Okay, all right. He gradually was able to save enough that at some point, he returned back to Kano Emirate to his religious studies and work. This time under the strict guardianship of Tata, who insisted that he must save something every day. Eventually, Al-Hassan Dan Tata started to trade in kola nuts, groundnuts, and some other commodities like dyed clothes, cattle, and he started to travel long distance in the north between Kano, Nupe, Gonja, like his father did. By 1912, his business flourished and Europeans started to show interest in the export of granite. His travel extended beyond the north, this time to Ibadan and Lagos in the west, and he developed a network trade associates, and he was soon in the granite pyramid caravan entrepreneur trades with the Europeans. Okay. By 1918, the British, pay attention, okay, make una dey hear this. One Nigerianist, you people, you've been told severally that these British people, They have a relationship, dealings going on with the North. But you are carrying one Nigeria on your head that, look at the way Biafra is. You've been told. Here we go. So, the British Royal Niger Company, now they develop an interest. They develop an interest in this pyramid, pyramid granite. By 1918, the British Royal Niger Company contracted with him to be the company major granite supplier. He became known for his granite business, and the granite pyramid in the north in Kano became a tourist attraction and a symbol of wealth. You people are hearing now. You are hearing. That's why I had to make this episode strictly so you can begin to understand that these British people, they are like minds with this North and the Yorubas. And these people are strangers. The Yorubas came from the Americas in the 12th century. The North, they all came. So they had like minds. The British, they are all strangers. They are working together to destroy Biafra, which they have doing, and to Islamize, which they have not been able to do. Okay. But they succeeded in destroying. But to Islamize, they have not. The youth, Biafran youths, are into occultship and thinking that that's the way they will make money. Meanwhile, Northerners are coming with the British, taking your resources and everything, destroying Biafra, and you are there singing One Nigeria. Okay then, here you go. All right, that's the British Royal Niger Company. Okay, yeah. All right, that's by 1918. Okay, so that happened. British Royal Niger Company contracted them, you know. So the granite pyramid was used as a port for stacking employed laborers who were transported, okay, from Kano to Lagos on a route to Ibadan, bound for shipment aboard to Europe. Okay. The UAC, Northern Nigeria, you are hearing UAC, all this, British and the North. After they secretly put this together, they bring it to Biafra. And you people, you've been told severally. You have been told severally. We need Biafra. We need our freedom. Now you can see why these people are sitting on your heads, controlling your lives, destroying Biafra and destroying Biafra market and taking your resources. Okay, there you go. Right. So the pyramid was used also as a port for to transport laborers, slaves abroad to Europe, British and all. Okay. The UAC, Northern Nigeria, secured the highest percent purchase contract of his groundnut. Okay. By 1922, he had become the wealthiest business executive not only in Kano, but in the entire of West Africa. Okay, this is about Dangote's great grandfather. But the thing here is he struggled from scratch. He struggled from scratch. Even the inheritance that was given to him at age 8 years old when his father died, Malam took it. So he struggled. At least you got to give credit to where credit is due. But then the story also exposed this relationship of the British and Fulani and Yoruba North and even Ghana. Wise up. Wise up. Okay then. Here we go. So, at the time of his death, on 15th August 1955, at about age 77 or 78, Al-Hassan's Dantata was West African wealthiest man and was also the first businessman to operate a bank account in the British Bank of West Africa that is now First Bank of Nigeria. Tell una dey hear. Una dey hear. You people, even family, when you talk about Biafra, they say, abeg go, Biafra, waiting. You are hearing, right? Okay then, here you go. Yeah, so the First Bank of Nigeria was British Bank of West Africa. Okay then, all right. He left fortunes for his 5 sons, Aminu, Amadu, Mamudu, Mudi, and Sanusi. Of the 5 heirs, Sanusi Dantata, who died on 15th April 1997, was said to be Aliko Dangote grandfather on his maternal side. All these are about Aliko Dangote maternal side, not his paternal side. All right then. I have just 2 photos to show. The first photo is Al-Hassan Dantata Groundnut Pyramid Entrepreneur Success Story. The second photo is Aliko Dangote, the great grandson of Al-Hassan Dantata. Let's see the first photo. That is photo of Al-Hassan Dantata, groundnut pyramid caravan entrepreneur business in the 20th century that made him the wealthiest Hausa man in West Africa. You have seen the photo. Now let's see the second photo. That is the photo of Aliko Dangote, Al-Hassan Dantata, maternal side, great-grandson. You have seen his photo. In this part 1, Aliko Dangote tells about this interview, about buying and selling sweets from his school, pocket money that his uncle who raised him gave him is not convincing enough. Yes, Aliko Dangote, your story is not convincing enough. It's not. Yes, so it's not at all. It's not convincing. All right. That story you told, Aliko Dangote, that story is not a success story of hard work to build from scratch. Compared to your great-grandfather, Al-Hassan, your story does not portray a child who actually struggled, suffered to sustain self-reliance and made it through life hardship. Your story does not. Yes. So your story is not convincing. How you became the wealthiest man in Africa, and as you know, you are involved in Halliburton scandal. You are. People go do research. You will see Aliko Dangote is involved in Halliburton scandal. Yes. And also Bill Gates and Belinda Gates, COVID-19 Foundation. You were mixed in there. Okay. So, you all have heard. The British conned, faked, fraudulent organization Islamic Corporation Nigeria cannot be forced down Biafra gullet. It cannot. It cannot be. This is not years past anymore. This is now. This is British time. This is media time. Shame on Igbo governors, Fulani puppets, for being the source of insecurities in Igbo land that spread to the diverse Biafra lands. Yes, shame on you, Igbo governors. Charles Shukuma Soludo, the Fulani puppet governor jobbers of Anambra, stop speaking engagement. Stop it in churches. Recently, you Soludo went speaking about fundraising in church Why don't you go to a mosque and talk about fundraising in the mosque, in the north? You come to Biafra and you go to these churches and be talking about fundraising. Recently, I saw the video and I shook my head and I said, look at that, this man. Okay. But you, Soludo, failed to make mention for the release of our leader, Ohamadike 1 Onyendo, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. It never once did you make reference to it. And yet you have gone to visit him in that DSS. You, Soludo, went there, but you were doing speaking engagement in church recently. And you never make a single reference to his release. Soludo, you are a big-time disgrace and a disappointment to the Biafran people and every lovers of freedom. Soludo, get thee hence, Satan. We call on Bola Ahmed Tinubu to keep his presidential campaign promise to ensure the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu from DSS custody. We call on the world to lend their ears to the plight and sufferings of Biafra people in the British OIC, Nigeria. British created it, so it's a British OIC. Even in the research that I did, I saw they were calling Kanu, British Kanu, British this, so British, it's a British Islamic Nigeria. Okay. So we have to make reference to it. Yes. So we ask the world to support Biafra exit from the pit of hell organization Islamic Corporation, Nigeria. Thanks for watching. See you next time on Anireju News. If you would like to donate for charity humanitarian, you can do so on my Cash App. You can also visit Anireju News online shop to order for t-shirts, pens, mugs, and other souvenirs. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to bring to the attention of the world that we, the Biafran people, never consented to be part of the Islamic Nigeria Corporation. And the world should please support Biafra exit from the British OIC, Muslim Nigeria. Biafra freedom is a right of the Biafran people. Thank you.
Mete wa Biafra de no. Mete wa Biafra de no. Asina heri jibi megi.